I bought this. Yeah, that smells like sour milk. Oh, it's getting worse by the second. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have such a cute makeup look on today, and I can tell you the products I used because I put them all in this bag so that I don't forget for when I'm putting links to them down below later. So I'm wearing the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paints. I'm wearing a blue shade too. It's buried at the bottom, but wear my About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paints. Also wearing one of their new fractal glitters. It's not new, they just put it in like this new packaging, which I like it in this packaging better. Wearing that as my sparkle. Wearing my About Face purple blush. Wearing my About Face teal mascara. I was in an About Face mood today. I'm even wearing their glitter brow gel, and I just found out that they increased my discount code, which is so freaking cool. It is an affiliate code, so if you do use it, I make a small commission off of it, but they increased it from 15% off to 20% off, so that's cool for everybody. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out all of the beautiful About Face beauty products I'm wearing on my face today. The lip is About Face too, I forgot to mention that. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in makeup I'm decluttering. So today I'm talking specifically about some face products. Pardon me, I was just pulling out my massive makeup bag full of makeup I'm decluttering. It is so weird to be an influencer and to hoard trash for so long just so you can talk about it. I love it though. I absolutely love telling you about my trash before I throw it away. And some of this is new, just like not good for me, so I won't throw the good stuff away. I will give it to friends or donate it, but a lot of it is also expired or broken or didn't work out for me. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why I am parting ways with many of these face products today. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to hear me rant about why I'm getting rid of all of these face products, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Let's start with these ColourPop bronzers. Well, they're not called bronzers. They're called Super Shock Cheek. They were kind of marketed as bronzers during this launch. I did get this sent to me in PR. Thank you so much, ColourPop. That was super sweet of you. This is the shade Flip Flop and the shade Match, which maybe would be beautiful highlighters on somebody with a deeper skin tone. I don't know, they were just kind of marketed in a bronzy way to me, which was confusing. I think both of these would be beautiful highlighters on someone with a deeper skin tone, but they are both too deep for me. I tried wearing it as a bronzer topper. Like I thought, oh, maybe I can use it as like over my bronzer, but I didn't like how sheeny it made my bronzer look all over. So I'm gonna pass these on to somebody who can use them. Another bronzer I am decluttering. This one's getting thrown away because it's expired. It's got weird lumps growing in it. I don't know if they're growing in it. I don't know if that's just like fibers from my brushes. It's the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Tan Lines. I absolutely love this bronzer. I'm gonna repurchase it. I might get the luminous version because I'm very curious and I like luminous things. But yeah, this was fantastic. If you're looking for a really good, affordable bronzer that just blends into the skin like butter, and if you have cool undertones like me and fair skin and usually bronzer show up orange on you, Tan Lines, phenomenal shade. Doesn't look orange. Super sheer but buildable. Like it goes on like a balm. I feel like putty is confusing. You think it's gonna be something different than it is. It's more of like a balm, and it's very sheer but buildable, and it's wonderful, and I'm only throwing it away because it's expired. Okay, lastly in my bronzer category, this is like bronzer and concealer and stuff. If you've been on my channel for a long time, then you know that I was in love with the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Palette. I haven't reached for this in a very long time because it's clearly past its expiration date. It says 12 months. I've had this for like 3 years. So yeah, I probably shouldn't be using it anymore. As you can see, I used most of the shades. Like I really did get some good use out of this. I used to do a Project Pan on my channel. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. I kind of abandoned it because I got bored of having to reach for the same products every day. But I included this in my Project Pan and I was able to almost completely use up all of the concealer shades. I just left this like bronzy shade because it's not deep enough to be a bronzer on me, but it's too deep to be a concealer on me. I even use the contour shade a lot. So yeah, I don't know if I'll repurchase this just because I have a lot of concealers I'm using right now, but I love this formula from NYX. And it does come, I have the light palette, but there's like a light, medium, deep, there's a corrector palette too, so they do have various shades and you can kind of customize your own concealers by mixing things together. And I really loved it. I probably will repurchase this at some point in the future after I get through some more concealers. Seamless transition into concealers I'm decluttering. So the first one I'm decluttering decluttering is the Shop Miss A AOA Studio Liquid Concealer. This is just nothing I'm looking for, unfortunately. One, it's way too light, which is on me. I chose the shade. I did a video with Shop Miss A, not a paid video, but like they said like, will you make a video if we send you a lot of stuff? And I said, yeah, sure. And then they sponsored a giveaway. It was a couple years ago, which was very sweet of them. So I chose this shade for myself, Porcelain. And here's the deal. I'm pale, but this is like way too light even for me, although I'm really pale right now. Honestly, maybe it would be suited for me right now, but it's too light for me. It's also really high coverage, which is just not really my jam, especially when it comes to like concealing the under eyes and stuff on my face. I don't like to feel cakey. I don't like to feel heaviness there, and this is just like a very heavy feeling concealer. For a while I thought I would just use it as an eye primer, and it worked okay as an eye primer, but I'm not a huge fan of using concealer to prime anymore either. I have a primer from Beauty Bay that I like better than using concealer to prime, but it's like the same vibe where it's like a concealer shade, but I just like the formula of that better. It's not a huge loss, you know. I did get this sent to me, but I think it's only like $1, so if you like high coverage concealers, you might be into it, but for me, it was too heavy, so I'm decluttering it. And the other concealer I'm decluttering it is kind of sad because this is discontinued, so once I declutter it, it's like there's no chance to repurchase or anything, but this is the First Aid Beauty Bendy Avocado Concealer. I bought this because Samantha Ravndal used to rave about this concealer. The curse of Samantha Ravndal, always loving things that end up getting discontinued. I got mine at TJ Maxx though for like $5, so a good deal. I waited until it was already at TJ Maxx. I should have known it was gonna get discontinued when I saw it there. But yeah, the reason I'm discontinuing this was a lovely concealer formula, you know, kind of like a light medium coverage, not a full coverage by any means, but it was very lightweight, feels like a serum. Like you can tell that this was made by a skincare brand. It's a very lovely feeling. Unfortunately, it's just not the right shade for me. Like I said, I got this at TJ Maxx, so I didn't get a chance to swatch it, obviously, but the shade name was Fair, and I think it's called, is the shade name Fair? I don't know, now I can't see. I'm pretty sure the shade name was called Fair, and that's usually my shade, but it has a yellow undertone to it, and I have pink undertones. This also looks really light here. I mean, compared to the Shop Miss A one, they look kind of like equally light, but even, you probably won't be able to tell, but even looking at the Shop Miss A concealer, that's like closer to my skin tone undertone wise, because it's pink, whereas this has a clear yellow undertone. I went through this phase a couple years ago where I thought that yellow undertone concealers were for brightening, not realizing that that only applies if you have a golden undertone. But if you have pink undertones like me, or peachy undertones, then you use pinky or peachy shades to brighten. We live and we learn, you know, and that happens. So I don't reach for this concealer anymore because I have better ones, so I'm decluttering it. Not what this video is about, but I do like to mention whenever I mention the discontinued Bendy Avocado Concealer that I feel like the Thrive Causemetics Buildable Blur HD Creaseless Concealer is a dupe for it. I have the shade Fair, which is a much better color match for me. It's a little more neutral. It's not completely like pink like I like, but it is more of a neutral undertone, and it's got that same very serum-y, lightweight feeling. I really like, sometimes I'll just pop like a little dot of this on my face. Why did you do that? Now you have to blend it out. Ugh, what can you do? Sometimes I'll just put a little dot of this on my face just to give a little bit of extra brightness, a little bit of hydration, a little bit of life. I just really like this concealer, and it's a good dupe for the First Aid Beauty one. All right, real quick, let's talk about a powder that I'm decluttering that's very expensive. Look Fantastic sent this to me a couple years ago when we did a video together for YouTube, another unpaid sponsorship that I did on YouTube, but they sent me some products, and this is the Color Science Sun Forgettable Total Protection Brush On Shield. It's an SPF 50 powder. I thought this was so cool when I chose it. Look Fantastic let me choose some sunscreen products for myself, and I chose this because I thought, how great would this be to reapply your SPF? I'm so bad at reapplying my SPF throughout the day, so I thought this would be good, but unfortunately, it's just not super practical. One, it's hard to tell like if the product is even coming out. I try to like shake some into the brush and then really like move it around, and you can tell it's coming out, but like, how do you tell what's covered on your face? And then I just felt like this brush got kind of greasy from like going over my face already wearing foundation. Maybe it's more, no, because even if I didn't have foundation on, there were times where I put this on with no foundation on. Doesn't really add coverage or anything, maybe a little bit of mattifying, but it's just hard to tell where the powder is and how much protection you're getting versus when I apply, you know, my regular liquid sunscreen. My favorite liquid sunscreen is the Pipette Baby sunscreen. It's SPF 50, and yeah, I use the 2-finger rule with that, and I apply it like that, and I know that I'm fully covered when I do that. Whereas like, how do you convert 2 fingers worth of this? I don't know. It's really expensive too, so I would never repurchase it myself, and I just never reach for it. And even the color's a little off. The color's like a little deeper than my skin tone. It's just not practical. Don't waste your money on this. Foundations, foundations, foundations. I have 3 foundations to declutter today, so let's go with the easy one, which is the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch Foundation. I loved this foundation for years. It's clearly expired. I've kept it for too long. I bought this. Yeah, that smells like sour milk. Oh, it's getting worse by the second. I smelled this like a month ago and it didn't smell this bad. Oh boy, I gotta throw this away today. But I loved this foundation. It's a beautiful medium, full-ish for me, but more of a medium coverage. It just looks really pretty. It's got like a soft matte, more natural finish to it. And the shade 140C is my skin in a bottle. Thank you, Selena Gomez, for like literally bottling my skin. I feel like usually when I go for foundations, they either pull like a little bit too yellow or they're a little too deep for my skin tone. So this is like a cool tone, fair skin gal's dream. It's wonderful. It's just expired. I bought this in September of 2020 when the brand launched. So I need to either get another one or I'm thinking about trying her tinted moisturizer instead. So we'll see. But I loved this. It's just expired. Okay, the next one that I'm decluttering I also really liked. It's just not the right shade for me. Are you noticing a pattern that I just can't pick the right shade for myself? Even my current favorite foundation, which is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator, I just finally went and got myself the right shade after using the wrong shade for like 6 months. I got the shade Fair because I figured that was right, but too yellow of an undertone. I went back and got the shade Porcelain, not what this video is about. I'm not gonna declutter Fair because it did work well for me in the summer, so we're gonna hold on to it a little longer. But the foundation I'm actually decluttering is the Oma by Sharon C, which is Oma Beauty's drugstore adjacent brand that's sold at Walmart. It's the Flawless IRL Skin Perfecting Foundation in the shade White Pearl T2. This is way too light for me. It's like you're gonna be like, how did you ever think that was the right shade for you? And hey, it's hard to choose shades online, okay? Okay, it's hard to choose shades online. This is like white. Hey, I really appreciate Oma by Sharon C having a great shade range that goes across a wide spectrum. I just need to go like 3 shades deeper in it. But I would be down to try this again because I really liked the foundation. It has a little bit of a smell to it. Kind of a powdery smell. You know what, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna repurchase this because of the smell. But it is a beautiful formula and it's affordable, you know, carried at Walmart. It's like a little expensive for drugstore. It's like $14.99, but you know, cheaper than Sephora. But I did really like it. It was pretty, it looked nice on the skin, but it was distracting to see how much lighter it was than my skin tone. So I just gotta declutter it. There's no reason to keep foundations around that aren't the right shade. You tell yourself you're gonna mix it in with other foundations, use it as a mixing foundation, and do you do that? No, you don't. So let's declutter it. Another foundation that's not the right shade for me, but I also don't really like the formula. I did at first. I really feel like I fell into the hype of the KVD Good Apple foundation, and they were kind enough to send it to me, which was so cool. But yeah, the shade Light 010 is not a good shade for me. It's definitely a little yellow. This is so thick. It is wild. Let me swatch it for you. See, when I swatch it on camera, it kind of looks like it disappears into my hand, but in person it's just a little too warm toned. I don't know if they have a cool tone shade that would match me. Maybe they do, but I wouldn't be interested in buying that because this foundation is so thick and heavy. It is a full coverage if you want it to be, which is great, but for me it is just not worth how heavy it feels on the skin. It feels sticky. It's just uncomfortable and I don't like using it, and I feel like it doesn't dry down very well. And granted, I don't wear setting powder, so maybe if I got a setting powder I could dry it down, but I just feel like it would feel even heavier if I set it with a setting powder. So yeah, it's just not for me. I don't think this foundation is worth the hype. All right, let's talk about a couple of cream blushes. The first one I'll mention is the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek Stick. This is the shade Quickie. I think I mentioned in my lips video that I decluttered these already. I guess I didn't. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. This shade Quickie though is gorgeous, right? What a freaking gorgeous berry shade. But unfortunately the formula is just a little oily. It's missing a big chunk because I did a video a couple years ago where I mixed all my cream blushes together. But yeah, the formula is just a little oily. It doesn't really set down. I can kind of feel it on my skin, and I've just found formulas in shades that I like better. So no reason for me to hold on to this. I got this at TJ Maxx for $8. I know you didn't need to know that, but being raised by an extreme couponer that my mom is, I have to let you know when I get a good deal, and this was a really good deal. So that blush is decluttered. Another blush that I got at TJ Maxx. Ugh, I get good steals at TJ Maxx, you guys. This is the Milani Cheek Kiss in the shade I Cherish You. Kind of similar to the Milk Makeup one. This one's really sad because it is a gorgeous color. It's not just like your typical red blush. It blends out into this like pinky peachy red. It's like indescribable. It's so freaking beautiful. But yeah, I could not get this to stick to my face. It felt like I would put it on with the brush and the brush would just absorb all the product. So I was like, okay, apply it with my fingers. And I would apply it with my fingers and it would just keep getting picked up back on my fingers. And I mentioned this in a few different videos and asked you guys for like advice, and nobody knew what to do to make this blush formula work. So I've just kind of finally given up on it. I have other red blushes in my collection. I actually have one from Oma by Sharon C that's a liquid red blush that I like much better than this. So even though, you know, it's a beautiful color, I can't hold on to it just for the color because I never reach for it because I just do not like the formula. All right, last declutter of the day is a highlighter. It's the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb highlighter in the shade How Many Carats. I got my money's worth out of this guy, so I feel good decluttering this today. It's not because it's not a beautiful product, it's because it's going on its 5th year old and I'm seeing on the back that it's only good for 12 months. Of course, I don't always listen to the expiration dates. I'll keep things a little bit longer, but this one has reached the point where like it's hard to get anything on my finger. Like I could like rub my whole hand around here and okay. Well, now I have sparkles on my hand, but it's hard when you're actually trying to use it to get stuff out, and you can see mine's like discolored because of when I had other makeup on my hands. You can see part of the pan down there. Like I really got my money's worth out of this, but I don't reach for it anymore because it's just like it's totally hard panned on the top and it's definitely expired. And I've been recently loving, let me grab it. I recently got this Lottie London Diamond Bounce highlighter in PR and it's a perfect dupe for the Fenty Beauty highlighter. Let me see, do I have a spot to put this on? It's just like a beautiful mirrored reflective beautifulness, and this is cheaper, so I would say if you want the Fenty one but don't want to spend the money, definitely check out the Lottie London one because it's phenomenal and it's what I've been using lately. All right folks, that's all that I am decluttering today. I feel very good about finally being able to get rid of this stuff because I've talked about it with you. I'm sure I'll have more to declutter soon. Usually the way I do my decluttering videos is I don't do like a massive collection declutter all at once. I used to do those and that was fun, but now it's not attainable for me. I don't have the bandwidth for it, so I kind of just like wait till I have enough products that I feel like I have to talk about. But right now I just feel like there's so much more I need to declutter. I just need to like really sit down and force myself to take a good hard look at things, especially my eyeshadow palettes. You'll notice I haven't mentioned any eyeshadow really, and it's because I'm overwhelmed and I don't know how to declutter, even though I don't wear a lot of eyeshadow anymore because I wear a lot of graphic liner and I wear a lot of liquid eyeshadow and I wear a lot of single shadows. So I'm just so overwhelmed looking at my palettes, but I'll probably do that within the next month or so. I don't even want to give myself a date, but stay tuned. If you like declutters, I'll be decluttering my eyeshadow palettes eventually. But I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. I post new videos twice a week. Check out my description box for the makeup details of all of the beautiful About Face Beauty products that I have on my face today. Remember, my discount code changed. AFX Giovanna 20 saves you 20%. It is an affiliate code. Also, my description box, I will have all of my social justice links, so please click on those links if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!